Madeline is giving our talk today. She was in the sermon writing class with Reverend Lauren last year. She found it interesting that it didn't take her long to hit on a topic she wanted to reflect upon. The topic was certainty, of the feeling of absolute certainty about something and the various consequences of that. She'll address the topic by reflecting on two incidents of her own life in which she has felt certain and it has not worked out as she thought. Madeline?
Good morning. I'm glad to be able to share these things with you that I've been pondering for a while. And just give me an opportunity to think about them a little more. I remember as a younger person being certain about many things. These certainties often arose from a clear dichotomy that I would apply to a situation and which would lead quickly to a fixed judgment. Here are some of those dichotomies. Right or wrong, good or bad, happy or sad. This approach to arriving at decisions or assessments is often referred to as binary thinking, or sometimes black and white thinking, or this or that thinking. The essential aspect of the binary approach is that only two distinctly opposite assessments are considered. Nuances are blissfully ignored. The appeal is that with only two options on the table, binary thinking is quick, and it results in certainty. And certainty has the appealing advantage of offering a sense of comfort and security, whether actual or imagined. Now, as an older person, I often find judgments that are made within the unyielding framework of binary thinking inadequate, shallow, even suspect. Could it be, I wonder, that the wisdom of old age includes a gradual letting go of our fondness for the comfort of clarity, of certainty? As a result of what our years of living have taught us, do we gradually become more accepting of things ambiguous or nuanced? I dare to hope so, and yet, speaking for myself, even well into mature adulthood, I have experienced strong bouts of absolute certainty, which were the result of binary thinking. These, I realize in hindsight, lacked depth and nuance and were neither realistic nor helpful as I reacted to certain situations. Here's an example. I'd been teaching English to 8th graders for several years when I received news toward the end of the school year that because of specific district needs and my particular certification and competence, I would be transferring to the high school the following year to teach 11th graders. This unexpected decree hit me like a thunderbolt. I was hugely dismayed. I loved teaching 8th grade. I'd developed a strong curriculum, effective classroom management, and positive professional relationships with colleagues at the middle school. I did not want to leave all that. In my sudden distress, I succumbed to a serious bout of unhelpful binary thinking, convinced that the only imaginable good would be my continuing to teach 8th grade at the middle school. And the single alternative to that would be bad, my unwanted transfer to the high school. Guess what? I was wrong. Teaching 11th graders ended up being one of the most gratifying experiences of my career. To my delight, I ended up working again with many students I'd taught before, both as 8th graders and years earlier in a program for academically advanced learners. I had the joy of sponsoring several of them at their inductions to the National Honor Society and wrote many enthusiastic letters of recommendation when they were applying to colleges. Another unexpected benefit for me was that adding secondary school teaching to my resume eventually led to an adjunct teaching position at the community college, an experience that yielded years of deep satisfaction. But because of its certainty that there are only two ways to look at a thing, my binary this or that thinking had made me unable to even glimpse those possibilities. How different it would have been, and how much less grief for me if, when faced with that situation, instead of embracing the duality of the conjunction or, in this or that, I had opted for the more open, exploratory conjunction and, as in this and that. Here are just a few of the things I might have considered if I had. I don't want to have to stop teaching 8th graders. And I will be sad to leave the middle school. And students I've enjoyed having in my classes before are now at the high school. And teaching 11th grade will involve more complex, interesting content. And it might be useful to add secondary school teaching to my resume. Such a non-binary approach would have expanded my thinking, made it more nuanced, more useful, more true, and less painful. About 10 years ago, I had another experience of feeling absolute certainty in a binary this or that kind of way. I still think about that incident with an enormous sense of relief at having narrowly avoided making a terrible mistake. Our daughter Rachel had called us in Connecticut to suggest we drive down to Sperryville to look at a house close to Waterpenny Farm that had just gone on the market. We did, and the house was indeed charming, cozy, and quaint, with a bubbling brook running along at the back of the yard. Rachel and I loved it. We thought it would be the perfect retirement home for Bill and me. Admittedly, it was small, but we could add on a room for visitors, and its location, so close to Rachel and Eric, Nicholas, and Isaac, was perfect. Bill liked these features too, but remained uneasy about the log foundation and the proximity to the floodplain. Nevertheless, my zeal carried the day, and we made an offer. We then discovered that there had been 2 other offers made on the house as well. And as we awaited the owner's decision, I was racked with anxiety, consumed with an unreasonable certainty that there were only 2 possible ways to regard the outcome: pure delight if we could buy the house, or pure misery if we could not. A serious case of inadequate binary thinking. The little word or had again led me to certainty's full stop. So I was oblivious to the prompting of the other little word, and, that would have led to a more nuanced, more accurate understanding of the situation. Had my thinking been non-binary, it might have gone something like this: I would love to live so close to Waterpenny Farm. And the cozy country cottage look of this house is so appealing. And I love the sound of the brook gurgling at the back of the yard. And it's not clear exactly how much it would cost to build the needed addition. And there could be construction complications, since part of the property is in the floodplain, and the house has no basement for storage. And there are probably other housing options in Sperryville that we don't even know about. And with more thought, the list of ands could have gone on even longer. Certainly the mere substitution of the conjunction and for the conjunction or would have softened my misery when, thanks to all that's good and holy, we learned that our offer had been declined, and we would not be buying that house. What a relief. Still think, whew. As it turned out, within the next year, we purchased 2 wooded acres only 2 miles from Waterpenny Farm, where we now reside in the designed by us retirement home we love. We can still hardly believe our good fortune to have ended up where we are. I'm going to stop here now for some clarification. First of all, I don't mean to suggest that speed, certainty, and the clarity of binary thinking should be shunned in every instance. An obvious example is in high-pressure, time-sensitive situations when binary thinking, by simplifying complex choices into either-or options, is essential. In some situations, it can lead to decisive action that can save lives. Also, in terms of the binaries, right or wrong and good or bad, there are some things I remain absolutely certain about. For example, I'm certain that compassion is good and cruelty is bad, that it's wrong to kill, maim, and starve innocent people, that it's right for those with more than ample means to help those in need, that it's right to protect our natural environment and wrong to despoil it, that discrimination is bad and diversity is good, and that justice under the law is good and should apply equally to all. And finally, who am I to quarrel with those fabled occurrences of love at first encounter? The morning after I met Bill, I told my roommates with foolhardy certainty that I was in love. Whether the credit goes to the certainty of that declaration or to the hard work, thick skin, love, and perseverance, the fact is that so far, after 56 years, we are still together. Having offered these disclaimers, I return to my theme, that the openness and outwardness of non-binary thinking is, in general, a better tool for navigating the choices and assessments we all have to make in life than the closed certainty of binary thinking. And that the non-binary, open-minded seeking of this and that can reveal pathways to new relevance and nuanced understanding that can add richness and wisdom to our lives, whatever our ages. I can't end this talk without sharing with you an old Italian language tongue twister, which, as a student of Italian, I first encountered a quarter of a century ago. It's one I love to recite, and its concise but powerful wisdom continues to impress me. First, I'll say it for you in Italian, for the pure pleasure and simple fun of hearing how it sounds. And then I'll translate it into English. Sa chi sa che non sa, non sa chi non sa che non sa. And the translation? The one who knows is the one who knows he doesn't know. And the one who doesn't know is the one who doesn't know he doesn't know.